Hi, welcome back again, everyone. My name is Daniel Simpson. I'm a core member of blockchain practice EPAM Systems, and I'll be your moderator for this upcoming session. Hope you're enjoying the great talks and discussion panels from today. For this upcoming session, we're going to explore how trust is the new currency and why brand and founder reputation matter more than ever. Our speaker is Silvia, who is CEO and founder of a branding and communications firm based in Dubai. Before I hand over to Silvia, I'd like to encourage our audience to leave any questions or discussion points for our speaker on the YouTube chat, and we'll do our best to get to them at some point towards the end of the session. So Silvia, welcome. The stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, thank you for inviting me today. I've been the last week a little bit sick, so I was like, okay, let's see if I can come because I confined today last minute, but yeah, finally I could make it. Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me today. Today we'll talk about trust. What is trust? Think about it. We often obsess about code, tokens, and tech, but at the end of the day, what defines a success or a failure of a Web3 project is trust. I don't know you, but I've seen many projects with brilliant technology failing because nobody trusts them. And then I saw some not that more modest projects succeed beyond expectations because the founders earn a trust from their community. So in this presentation, I will explain why trust is truly the new currency in Web3 and beyond. We will explore how your personal reputation as a founder and your project's brand reputation can make or break your success. Also, we'll dive into the psychology of trust and practical frameworks like the trust triangle. And also, I'm going to give you at the end some actionable advice on how to build, earn, and safeguard your trust in your own projects. So let's start. First of all, let me go to the next slide. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. This is Silvia Mogas. I have a more than 20 years career in marketing. I am former marketing director by Hilton Hotels. Back in 2019, I left the job. So I'm Spanish. I suppose you can tell a little bit with my accent, but I lived abroad for many years. So I lived in the UK, I live in Singapore, Indonesia, in Dubai, and now I'm a little bit in transition between Dubai and New York. I'm originally from Barcelona. I've been in the Web3 space for 6 years. So I got introduced in the blockchain space when I was living in Singapore. I am former CMO of some projects like in Modify Fair Labs. We launched NFT collections, a marketplace of NFTs with some DGs. And after the last bull market, we started a recession. So I started my company during the bear market. It was called, well, it's called still Blockchain Marketing Boutique. What we do in the agency is we do end-to-end marketing services, full stack marketing. We help with marketing and PR. And on one of our services that we are most proud is personal branding. Because at this stage, we think that it's what the founder is the brand. So we need to have a very good reputation, the founder, to be able to succeed in this space. Also, this company is part of the hub BNB Web3 Ventures. In this hub, we do education for universities. We also do events. And yes, so we work as well with a tech stack to be able to introduce this technology to Web2 companies, because we position as well as a lot between Web2 and Web3. So it's a little bit overall. So we do a lot as well. We, in the Web3 space, most of us, we are multitasking and multi-time founders. Let's start. Why trust and why now? So let's start with the big picture. So we are at the moment in a time where trust is crucial. And it's extremely fragile and extremely vital when we talk about our projects. Over the last few years, public trust in institutions and technology has been shaken. In crypto and Web3 especially, we had some scandals that left a trust deficit. If I ask you some scams or failures in the last few years, I believe you can have so many names on your mind. I decided to don't say these names, so I leave you brainstorming a little bit. And I think this doesn't help the other projects who are building real solutions. But we can fix this building and having a good reputation. According to the 2023 Edelman Trust Barometer, Global Trust in Cryptocurrency, only around 1/3 of the people say that trust in crypto companies, they think that these people are doing right. So people don't trust with crypto companies. And this only 1/3. So this is a very low number. And for me, it's a wake-up call. For all of us building in this space, we need to do something. Because trust is the foundation of adoption. If people don't trust a system or the people behind it, they simply won't use it. It doesn't matter how revolutionary your DApp is or your protocol. Without trust, you won't have users, investors, or community. In Web3, we are asking people to embrace new technologies and familiar models of value. It's a public trust of our ecosystem. They will hesitate if we don't do that properly. They will hesitate to join us. This is basically what is happening. So for this reason, the mass adoption is really, really slow. So as a Web3 founders and community leaders, we must recognize that earning trust is a priority number one. Everything we send, every promise we make, we have to accomplish it. So why now? We need to focus on this. Because after this ends and the ups and downs of the recent years, the trust has become a scarcest and most precious asset. Founders and brands who are trusted will succeed even in bear markets. In short, now is time to double down our trust. Now, I'm going to give you some figures. 77% of the consumers are more likely to buy from a company if the CEO is active on social media, and 82% of people trust more on a company that their executives are visible and active online. Not when cheap and update, not when race around, but when they show up consistently. Consistency is key. And finally, 92% of people trust recommendations from people over brand messaging. So if we are still hiding behind your product and letting the product call speak for itself, you are leaving trust and adoption on the table. Your face, your values, your story, that's what people believe in. In Web3, founder presence is a nice to have. It's a growth channel and a trust engine. I love this slide. Web3 is often described with a curious term, trustless. So we hear that blockchains enable trustless transactions, meaning you don't need to trust middlemen like a bank because cryptocurrency and code do the work. That's true, but it only tells half of the story. We're a paradox here. The less we have to trust centralized systems, the more important personal and community trust becomes. In this centralized ecosystem, we remove traditional gatekeepers, but it also means that they are not established institutions to guarantee credibility. So we stop trusting bankers, but we start trusting code, developers, auditors, and community governance. Here my brain explodes because I'm thinking that we are creating something so new and we don't have anything sustainable to trust. So now I'm thinking, many Web3 founders, I don't know if it happens to you, but I spoke with many Web3 founders during calls and I don't see their face. Most of them, they have pseudonyms. You don't know who is really behind it. So traditional reputation often aren't present in permissionless economy. This creates a massive trust gap. Users and investors struggle to know how to trust when identities are hidden or fluid. So the Web3 paradox is this. We have built systems designed to require less trust in theory, yet in practice, people crave trust more than ever. If a project code is open source, but we don't trust the team maintaining it, you will use it? I wouldn't. If a transaction is trustless, but we suspect the platform is insecure or the founders might run off, we will hesitate. Understanding this paradox means as founders, we have to bridge this trust gap. We, the builders, must become the trust pillars for our communities. And this starts with our reputation. The founder reputation. I want to talk with this very, very deeply because in Web3, a founder's personal reputation is the biggest trust factor for your project. Why? Because people don't just invest in ideas. They invest in people, especially in the decentralized environment. But community and stakeholders will look directly to you as a trusted point. If they feel that they know you, believe you, and align with your values, they will trust your project. If you are an enigma or a question mark, it might be much harder to sell. In my experience as a Web3 marketer, I've seen this time and again and again and again. Projects with charismatic, transparent founders tend to gain more traction faster. And it's not about just ego, it's about credibility. It's what we are looking for, to be trusted in that space. As founders, we need to step forward and put the face of these projects. And this means communicating openly, sharing our why, our ikigai, our mission, and being a bit vulnerable sometimes. One of the tips always I say to my founders is like, tell them what are you doing, what are you, the challenges are you facing, because then you are making more human. So the community wants to know who you are, what do you stand for? Will you be there if the things get tough? For example, I don't know if you remember some months ago, we had the Bybit hack. So 1.5 billion get hacked in Bybit. So it was very good for the CEO, Ben Zhu. I don't know if I pronounced properly. He acted fast, publicly acknowledging the breach and explaining what was the cause. And he assured that the users will get back the funds back. So that was really, really good. Also, he launched the Lazarus Bounty program to find this money where it was around. So this response was a really good example of founder leadership because it demonstrated that the 3 pillars of trust. So the 3 pillars of trust are authenticity. He showed up personally. He was fast. He didn't hide behind a PR team. He used his own voice in social media to address to the community. He asked questions and he answered the questions as well. He explained what happened exactly, and he always was user first. So he promised that all user funds were safe and covered by Bybit. And people were much safer, feel much safer and trusted with this exchange. And here is, for me, the takeaway. Your personal brand and behavior as a founder don't just influence your project. They define it. If you are honest, consistent, and present, people feel that. If you vanish when things get hard, they feel that too. So another example is we launched a token, one of my former projects, and the project after TG didn't perform that well because we were starting in the bear market. And I was a CMO there. So my former CEO, he was always showing up with the community, doing AMAs, explaining what's going on and what we were doing to improve the token. So it's another example that a smaller project can do that as well. I told you that Bybit, but another project that was small who could do it. So because in Web3, we don't have a long corporate stories or compliance layers to fall back on. So we need to trust with the founders, and the founders are our trust layer. We are not just the builders, we are the storytellers, the chief trust officers, and we are the emotional point of our community. And it's not just a vanity, because most of my founders say that, oh, I don't want to be there, I don't want to be faced. I don't have this ego. It's to show visibility, leadership, and when you consistently show up, you share what you think, and you admit as well publicly when you are wrong, and bring people into your process, building in building in public, they say, no? So you just don't build hype, you build belief as well. And belief is what sustains projects through market cycles. Because at the end of the day, people don't follow roadmaps, they follow people and they follow you. And of course, your reputation. And remember this, in this space is your most powerful asset. So a little bit of love now. And While founder personal brand is critical, a brand reputation of your project is as well important. And in Web3, we speak always about community. And community is the true utility, meaning that strong community trust can be the biggest driver of your project's value. What does brand trust look like Web3? So if your users believe that your smart contracts are secure, that your game or platform will deliver the experience promised, that your DeFi protocol won't suddenly disappear with their funds, this community will trust you. You must treat the community as a members, not as a customers, as a partners or co-builders of your ecosystem. Because when people feel included and be part of something, that then is when the magic starts. So the snowball, it's that all the projects are looking is when it starts here. It's so for me it's magical because all the community is supporting you and you are building community supporting you and the community is bigger. So this is why the trust is so important and put the community first as well. So my advice to make bad decisions my advice always is to make bad decisions with long-term view. So always when I am fractional CMO as well. So when I talk with my projects, it's like, okay, what we want to achieve and what we have to do to achieve this. And when we build this roadmap, we build all the different touch points that we are going to do. And we need to create this constantly, as I said earlier. Because if we do constantly, we will survive in any crypto winter, anything. Because when markets rise and fall, your trusted brand and loyal community will come with you. And then this is really cool. I really like. Oh, I'm a bit short of time, I think. I have 2 slides more. So this is very interesting. So I talk about trust in practice, but now I want to talk a little bit about psychology of trust. What actually makes people trust someone, especially a leader or a founder? There is a framework. The professor from Harvard, Francis Frey, did it. And the components are authenticity, logic, and empathy. So you have to ask yourself, do people see you, the real you? Do they have trust in your judgment? And do they believe you care about them? Think a little bit about this and be honest with yourself, because you will find that, I'm not saying that everything is wrong, but you will find that you can improve some of these questions or answers. And then I'm going to go to the different points. So I'm going to start with authenticity, asking yourself, are you being genuine? Do you act in a way that is the true yourself on your values? If a founder is acting or saying what they think, or investors, what they think that investors want to hear, people will see this, and it's losing authenticity. For example, if you're building a project because you truly believe it in financial inclusion, share that story, but don't pretend that you are that you don't believe. If you don't believe in this, don't share this. Basically, try to be honest with your narrative and your values, because you can tell when you are not aligned. Secondly, the logical. So everyone wants to know if you can execute it. So we need to show what are the decisions and why you are doing this. Back then with data, always data is important, and everyone likes data to know why is behind. And finally, empathy. For me, this is really, really important. Do you care about others? And you show it. This is the most important and truly special for a leader. Empathy in this context means you are not just in it for yourself. You actually care about your users, your team, and your community. People feel this. It comes across in how you communicate and act. Empathy could mean listening to community feedback or being present in support channel, helping others, or in a crisis, putting others before you. Because for me, always is your community, your team, and then is a founder. In conclusion, if your people perceive you lack of any of these 3, authenticity, logic, or empathy, your trust can have some problems. So we need to work on this. And And yeah, as I said in the beginning, I would do a self-check. So I would say, I'm communicating my logic clearly. Have I shown I care about community lately? You can do it that asking how they feel, what they want, what they need to improve, what are the new tools that they would like to you to create. And also, I am true by myself. I am present what I'm doing. I'm aligned with my purpose, my ikigai. So I think this is really, really important. And then a small checklist. Be always transparent and communicate always early. Don't wait when it's too late. Do what you say that you are going to deliver. Don't overpromise. Your word is your value. Own your mistakes. So be honest and say, okay, I was wrong here. I could do it that better, because people are not going to forgive your silence or don't showing up because you have a huge ego. But they will remember that you show up when you have to. Prioritize always security. Of course, do audits when you need them. And again, if there is something that it happens wrong to your community, protect their investments. And also talk to them, talk to your community, because they are not just your followers as well. Your co-founders, your partners. So they are your small family, and thanks of them, you exist. So yeah, thank you very much for being here. I hope you learned something today. It was just an overview of what for me is trust. We are building a project that is called We Are Stellars. With this project, we are helping Web3 founders to get listened and to find their space in the Web3 space and build their credibility. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Silvia. Very, very interesting. So we do have a couple of questions from our audience. So maybe we can get the first one on screen. It's from Aston Vieck. He asks, Web3 celebrates pseudo-anonymity, yet investors demand doxed founders. Can projects truly balance privacy with trust, or is anonymity a red flag now?
My answer would be personal, because at the end I cannot talk about everyone. But for example, when I'm hiring or all my team members, they have to show their faces. And okay, one day you can be sick and you can say, okay, I don't want to put the cam. But at the end, I think it's respect for, it's my point of view again, but it's respect for everyone, that you are showing that you are there, and also that you are a real person, no? That you are committed with the project. And if you don't show your face, for me, I feel that is something wrong if you don't want to show your face. I'm not going to judge if you are ugly, you are old, because at the end, I'm not a judgment person, and anyone should judge for this. So I think that Web3 space is so inclusive to have a space for everyone. Yeah, for this is my point of view. I can get it that people who did a lot of money in the beginning of crypto, they want to be anonymous. I get that, but to do a project, you don't have to be anonymous. So I think you don't have to correlate both things. So, and then I don't know if I'm answering this exactly. For me, it's a red flag, as I said. But you have I'm going to give you a tip. If you are a builder, and you, depending on the platform that you are building, if you want your users to don't show who they are because you want to protect them, you can use zero knowledge proof. At least you guarantee that they are real behind. They pass a KYC. So I don't know if I answered exactly the question. Please let me know.
Yeah, I believe we covered it pretty well, Silvia. Perhaps we can move to our next one. How can small projects compete with VC-backed brands when trust is often equated with funding announcements?
So I think you need to find your perfect match with the VC that you are looking for, because potentially the VC that is investing for these big brands, is not going to be your match. So you need to find the VCs that will be your partner, will help you to grow. And VCs are not just money. At the end, VCs have to be your partner, under my point of view as well. So you want someone to add value to your project, and if they trust you, and for me, what it works, and I'm going to be very honest, what it works is showing myself. Okay, I don't have to show all my problems, but I can show them the challenges I'm facing. I don't have to tell. I'm saying that a lot. So for me to say always, I am good, everything is well, for me, I don't trust this person because I'm a founder and I'm building in this space, and I know that I work a lot. So for me, it's difficult that always is good for you. So you need to have up and downs, and it's good to share that. Okay, you don't have to be the best. So, but at the end is to share this, and there is to find this perfect match with the VC. For me, is this, and to find a niche. So at the end is these brands, they have budget to be in big channels, but you can find different. I can't help you if you need. You can ping me afterwards, but you can find different channels that they don't need to spend 10K to be able to be featured. So at the end, you have different ways to start building your personal brand.
So great stuff. Okay, we've got a couple more. And we've got time to get to these as well, I think. What's the first thing a founder should communicate to signal that this that this isn't a scam to a skeptical audience?
So there are some red flags, right? So they are like checking list for VCs, no? Show the team. For me, always I need to know who is the team. I am a LinkedIn fan, so people who and I have to say that people are lying in LinkedIn as well. So for me, LinkedIn as well is not maybe 100% trusted method. But at the end, I like to see LinkedIn that they have a face there and they are doing and they are active there. So for me, it's important. And they need to have, as I said earlier, data. So they need to have a roadmap, data plan, and numbers that make sense. For me, I'm a marketer, so for me, they have to have a marketing plan because a project without market fit doesn't, for me, is a red flag as well, because it's a lot of mistakes we are doing in the environment, in the industry. So we build perfect technologies, but the team most of the teams, they don't understand marketing and they don't know how to reach these audiences. And maybe they don't have that market fit, or they have something cool, but people are not willing to pay for this service. So for me, it's another red flag if you don't have this market fit. Metrics, as I said, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, one just before we jump to our next question, I just had a thought that when I see some new projects online, that often they're accompanied by a white paper, right? So that they're giving information, but it seems to me like many times they focus too much on tokens and trying to boost the price of a token. And like you go to their homepage, they're talking about their ABC token. Here's where you can buy it. Here's where you can exchange it. And like for me, like I lose interest at that point because it just seems like they're just trying to that value, and there's no real substance. It doesn't sound like there's much substance of what they're doing. So I'm thinking,
I'm coming from here, I'm totally aligned. And it's something that I think it's finally changing. I'm reading that some VCs are already going to my direction. So the ecosystem starts for founding, right? If we don't have founding, we cannot create a startup, because I'm bootstrapping my company, but it's very complicated because an agency cannot have founding, or it's not the best business to invest in. So usually they are bootstrapped. But when we talk about scalable products, we need to have investment to be able to scale these products. So here's when we are starting finding investment. And here, most of VCs, when I reach out them with some projects and they ask me, what are the tokenomics? What is the crypto? So there are still some investors that they are only invest in projects with crypto. So for me, I'm not going to say that this is a red flag. I'm going to say that this is a type of investor that is still kind of speculating about just projects with crypto and fast return. I get that. It's a business. I get that. But I think where we should go and where we will go naturally, I think, is that projects that they have a long-term vision. I hopefully we do that. And then we'll stop speculating and starting putting value to the projects. So always say, not all the projects, they need a token. And for me, and your token is not your product. Please start launch your project, launch your product, and then on top of it, you will be able to put your token. But if you don't do that in the right way, then it's when we have these up and downs. Most projects succeed, and I am going to have people that they are going to say, yes, that crypto is very important, and TG. I understand, but there is another wall as well. So it's what I wanted to share.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, maybe we could just jump to one final question. What's one underrated tactic for small projects to build trust fast?
I wouldn't recommend to everyone. I'm not a huge fan, at least for me, but some projects and some founders, if they strategize really well and they do well and they are good communicators, I'm going to say build in public. So if you are starting building in public and you have a project that is starting getting traction, people are going to start being interested in you. And then another one, I suppose everyone knows here, is co-marketing. So win-win. So be involved with our communities and do co-marketing.
Great. Some great advice and some great insights there. Silvia, thank you. Thanks for your talk.
Thank you for your questions. They were very insightful. Thank you so much.
Great. So I think we can wrap up our session there. Silvia, thanks again on behalf of Blockchain Professionals community, and for those who were asking these great questions and tuning in. Please stay with us for the final talk of the day, coming in a few minutes, focusing on blockchain data, the ownership paradox in transactional freedom, coming up in a few minutes.